Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Just more clarification on how different rakah system works. So, as we know that in different prayers, like Fajr has two, Zohar has four, so does Asr has four, sunset prayer, Maghrib has three, and Isha has four. If you can see, the three different numbers that we have are 2, 4, and 3. So, of course, instead of me teaching you how 5 daily prayers work, I just have to teach you how 3 look like, and then the rest of them are, like the Zohar, Asr, and Isha. These all have 4 rak'ah, and they will all work the same way. So, in the beginning, I said, let's do number 2. And I'm sure you guys have already looked at the lesson where it's what to say, how to pray, and what do you say in each prayer. That lesson, that should be your homepage. You should be memorizing everything that is in those recordings, and I have stated every single step and what do you recite in each step. But now let's visually look at how those steps work, and because there are some notes in there which I wanted to clarify in this lesson. How do we follow those? So, if that in the beginning, you start out by saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, which is God is great, God is greater, and you start that. Now, this is only done in the beginning, okay? And now we have the opening prayer. Which is Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa tabarak asmuka wa ta'ala jadduka wa la ilaha ghayruk. And I'm not going to write all this down, and because you have that what do you say in each prayer lesson where you can go back and I have titled as the starting prayer or the opening prayer. So this is only done in the beginning. You say Allahu Akbar, and you raise your hands. And then you put your hands on your chest and say the opening prayer. After that, you say basically seeking protection from Satan. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. All of these steps right here is just the beginning. Okay, this is just the start right here. Okay, and then you say Bismillah, and the whole it continues Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Now you say Surah Fatiha, which is the first chapter. So I'm just gonna call it first chapter of Quran, which is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, all the way to the end. Now Bismillah, just remember that Bismillah is said before you start any chapter of the Quran. You will say Bismillah Rahman Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, especially merciful. You say that, and now you say Surah Fatiha, and then any small surah or the chapter. Again, it's not 100% translation, but for the lack of time, I'm just gonna describe it as chapter. So the surah, you can just say, and we have picked it. And again, try to recite a different surah in each rak'ah. In the first 2 rak'ah, you say something after Surah Fatiha. This is a must. The first chapter of the Quran is recited in every rak'ah. And after that, you say a small chapter. And I want you guys to start memorizing different chapters. But if you don't know it, just know the one that I have mentioned in the audio, which is chapter 112. Okay. Now, after you're done saying this, now you say Allahu Akbar. Again, you can see that Allahu Akbar is kind of an indication of going to the next, for the most part, next step. Then you go in ruku, or you can call this bow down position. Then you say, Sami Allahu, and this is again all in your audio, Sami Allah, and it continues. Basically, between the position that we call between ruku and prostration position, or getting up from ruku. So you say that, and then you go to the sajda or prostration. Now your head is touching the ground. Then you sit. This position is between two prostrations. And then you make your prostration number 2. Prostration number 2. And now you ask yourself, okay, now you did the 2 prostration, I said, from beginning till the end, from standing till you sit right here. After the second prostration, you ask yourself, is this my last rakah? No, it's not, because this is basically your first rakah. You just started. This is your first rakah. You just started. So then you ask yourself, okay, is this my first rakah? Yes, it is. So then you continue, because we cannot stop until we're in either the second rakah or the last rakah, right? So after first rakah, after you're done with both prostrations, get up, okay, and start again with Bismillah, okay, which is basically this step right here. And then you say the first chapter of the Quran, and then small surah. So now we're in the second rakah, okay? We're in the second rakah now. Okay, first chapter, and then small surah. After small surah, what do? You go to, you say Allahu Akbar, and then go to your ruku position, which is bow down. Bow, stand up again. Go down to prostration number 1. Sit, and then prostration number 2. Sit, and now ask yourself, okay, is this my so it's after second rakah, you have to stop. After second rakah, you have to stop. You can't get up until you say the tashahhud, which is at-tahiyatu lillahi was-salawatu wat-tayyibat, all the way till the end. And again, you can go back to the audio to take a look at that. Now, if you say your tashahhud, and you ask yourself, after the tashahhud is done, you ask yourself, is this my last rakah? Yes, it is, because you're praying two rakah. This is the second rakah. Of course, if it's a 2 rakah prayer, like the Fajr prayer, then after the second rakah, you should be done, because you can't pray another one. So then you continue, and I'm gonna put this, salam on Prophet. Again, there's a whole audio for that. And then concluding, the supplication, the last dua or last supplication. And then you say salam to right, where you turn your head to the right, and then salam to left. Okay, just like how I said that these steps right here, okay, these are only done in the beginning. If this, in the first rakah, right when you're starting, and that you don't perform these again, just like that, these steps right here, these guys right here, let me just pick a different color then, is only done in the last rakah. In the last rakah. And this is the first rakah. Just in the opening. Okay? And then, so now let's say you were praying 3 rakah. 3 rakah prayer. After tashahhud is done, what do? You get up. You basically get up and then start again. Same thing. Bismillah, first chapter. Now, first chapter of the Quran, Now, I said that the small surah is only done in the first and second rakah. But in the third rakah, you only just read the Surah Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, all the way to the end. Go down to bowing down position, stand up, prostrate number 1, sit. And again, each position has something that you say, and between each position, you would say Allahu Akbar and go down. And I'll have a video to basically show you how this is done. Prostrate number 2, sit. Again, if this was your so this is what I would do. Let's put this in another color. If last rakah, because if you were praying Maghrib, this would be your last rakah. If last rakah, do this. First you do tashahhud. Again, you can't skip the tashahhud. At-tahiyatu lillahi, and then the rest. If this was your last rakah. If not, what do? You get up, and then basically now you're doing your fourth rakah, and then you say the same thing. Bismillah, first chapter, Surah Fatiha, no short surah, bow down, stand up, prostrate number 1, sit, prostrate number 2, sit. And now, since this is your last rakah, because there's no such thing as 5 rakah prayer or 6 rakah prayer, this has to be your last rakah. After the 4th rakah, this is your last prayer. So what do? You say the tashahhud, at-tahiyatu lillahi, and you say all of this, and then salam. And this is it. This is just a quick overview of how each rakah is read, and what do you do when you have the second rakah, 2 rakah prayer? What do you do when you're doing the 3rd rakah prayer? But for the most part, you can see that Bismillah, first chapter, all of this is being repeated in every rakah. Only difference is that you just have to know is, okay, there's a set of recitations like this right here that you read only in the beginning, and there's this set of recitation which you read only at the end, and then there's some exceptions, such as in the 3rd and 4th rakah, you don't read a small surah. But for the most part, all the rest of the steps are the same. You have a prostration, you have a bowing down, you're gonna say Surah Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, and Bismillah. So all of these steps are being repeating in each rakah, and with the minor exceptions that I just mentioned over here. So let's move on to our video where I'll show you how a 2 rakah prayer is prayed from start to beginning. And again, once again, disclaimer is that this short surah that I'm reciting, I'm only reciting just one surah, which is chapter 112 of Quran, which I put in the what to say lesson. But remember, the key is you want to be memorizing more surahs, and don't be repeating the same surah in every rakah, or even every prayer. Make sure you keep on try to memorize more surahs, and when it comes time for you to recite a small surah of the Quran, make sure you're trying to say different surahs and in your prayer, because you don't want to be repeating the same thing. But just for the sake of our practice course, I'm just going to be using this chapter 112, but don't get into a habit of just reciting this 112 because it's short, it's sweet, and you're just going to be reciting that in every prayer. But besides that, let's move on, and we'll see how a 2 rakah or a 3 rakah or a 4 rakah prayer looks like.